I'm Tom.
And I'm Oz.
And we're here for the WineAlive Summer Sipping Series. Good stuff, alliteration fans. And we're doing lower alcohol wines without compromise.
And we're going to one of my favourite places in wine, New Zealand, where they make Sauvignon Blanc.
Come on. So Oz, we're in Marlborough. We're here. Come on.
I have to say, Marlborough, on a beautiful sunny day, there's almost nowhere else I'd rather be in Marlborough. And to be honest, drinking Sauvignon Blanc is one of my great delights. I'm probably the biggest crowd waving cloud. What do you wave? Cloud waving?
Yeah, wave a cloud about. Why not? You can wave whatever you like. You'll find it.
Flag waving. I've been watching too much political television.
There you go, with all the clouds. Flag waving.
One of the great flag wavers for Sauvignon Blanc.
You are.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
I would say you are. You're the central point. Sauvignon Blanc revolves around you. You're the gravitational pull of Oz. Sauvignon moves around. We're driving down gravel. We've got deep gravelly soils. We've got big long roads. We've got, Cloudy Bay up on the horizon. We've got Huia. We've got all of these glorious producers. A sea of vines. Yeah. In fact, and we're going to Forrest.
Yes, because of course Cloudy Bay is not on the horizon. Cloudy Bay is virtually just over the road.
Literally over the road.
We're in a place called Renwick in Marlborough.
Indeed.
And this is absolutely where New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc began 40 years ago.
Yeah.
40 years ago exactly, probably, with Cloudy Bay. Now, these are incredibly gravelly soils. They're the old riverbed of the Wairau River. They are soils that have proven themselves over 40 vintages to be fantastically suitable for really snappy, bright, fresh Sauvignon Blancs. And those Sauvignon Blancs, of course, normally come in at 13% alcohol.
Yeah, and there's the interplay, isn't there? Of there's a vibrant acidity, intense flavour and brightness and boldness, and a degree of sweetness to balance that high level of acidity that's naturally there.
And we've got this guy called Dr. Forrest who says, I'm not sure that everybody wants to have 13% alcohol in their wine, but I'm absolutely sure that everyone who likes Sauvignon Blanc wants 100% Sauvignon Blanc experience. How do I give them my Sauvignon Blancs at about 9.5% instead of 13? Now, he got the idea from Germany. Dr. Forrest, by the way, is a proper doctor. He's a PhD in goodness knows what. Terribly bright bloke. He got the idea in Germany because in Germany they've got these wonderful wines called Cabinet. They make them on the Mosel Valley, and they can sometimes be as low as 7.5% alcohol. Literally. Normally between 8 and 9.
Yeah, and growing as we speak.
And everybody absolutely loves them. Doesn't want them to be any stronger than they are. But they have some sugar, some residual sugar. Now, if you put 20 or 30 grams of residual sugar in a Sauvignon Blanc, it's going to be too sweet. Everyone's going to say, I don't really like that at all. What John Forrest has spent decades doing is thinking, how can I get the full Sauvignon Blanc experience in a dry wine?
Exactly.
But the same kind of strength as a German Cabernet wine.
Exactly that. And these achieved it beautifully. So we've got the range here. We're going to taste through the doctors, and we're going to taste some Sauvignon Blanc. There's going to be some Riesling. There's going to be some Pinot Noir. We're going to do the whole range. All of these come in at 9 to 9.5%. ABV. So we're talking a decent third of the alcohol from each of these wines slashed off them.
Because this no to low alcohol thing has become really important, hasn't it?
And honestly, Oz, I think for the rest of our careers, it is going to be front and centre. All of us are drinking less. I'm drinking less than I used to. I think the occasions in which we're sort of going for it with the quantities of alcohol are getting fewer and further between, and
that's called being married and having a family.
Genuinely, it is what it is. It's the second the children turned up. Genuinely, but I think what's really important is we're not wanting a fewer quantity of sociable, brilliant occasions. For me, the point of alcohol is the same thing that's been the point of it for 8,000 years. Really, is it's community. It's the shared experience of going. We're all going to taste the same thing at the same time. We're going to have our own unique experience with that. We're going to open something and share it. It's a community thing. It's a communal social lubricant.
But the alcohol is important, isn't it?
The alcohol is really important within that.
So it's not the same as beer here.
No. This is it. The alcohol has got a positive effect on that. Not that you need it completely, but the fact that you can probably do that with wines like this and have all of that same experience, but without the overindulgence, without the slightly slower morning the next day, and crucially letting wines like this do the heavy lifting in terms of trying, rather than sitting at a table and sort of going, oh crikey, I've had 2 glasses, I probably ought to have a couple of non-alcoholic things while these guys carry on or whatever. The fact that these are a third off the alcohol anyway, they're doing the heavy lifting. You just keep drinking as you would normally, and you're a third of the way, more positive.
If I can read you the back label here, it says, a fun night out shouldn't have to mean a long morning of regret. And now it doesn't have to.
Exactly.
But you see, there are ways of removing alcohol from drinks, which can be pretty severe, and often with wine absolutely don't work.
Absolutely.
You've got this, you can vacuum distill all the alcohol out, and you're left with some terrible, disappointing piece of stuff with acid and sugar.
Exactly. You take all the component parts apart separately, and then you have to piece them back together, and usually doesn't work.
Reverse osmosis, another great big scientific thing with these machines, pulling everything apart, shoving it together, and what you're left with is think, I'm not drinking that.
It's my least favourite.
Cone. There's a
what did you call
spinning cone like this, which spins some of the alcohol off. And this has been used by people like the Australians for 30 years. And I think quite a lot of people in hot areas do take a little bit of alcohol off like this, but it's only a little bit. And often I find when you use it to really make a low alcohol wine, you're left with tons of sugar
100%.
and sweetness. So, and you've got yeasts. Now you can use lazier yeasts which, when they're eating up the starch and the sugar, create less ethanol and presumably more carbon dioxide. Now the brewers use that.
Brewers are using these all the time, and there are beers produced today that are 0.5% ABV, give or take, that have a full fermentation pretty much with these lazy alcohol creating yeasts. And the crucial thing is as long as that fermentation process goes through, you derive an enormous amount of the flavour that you would otherwise. Beer in lots of ways is the winner, isn't it? In the argument of non-alcoholic drinks completely.
So far, completely.
Yeah, there's fewer components to wine. Wine is a much simpler product than beer. The joy of it is it's squished grapes that taste like where they come from, and there's not a lot of dials and levers to tweak. Beer is a recipe. You can dial up the hops, you can dial up the maltiness, you can kind of have a good go at it. And multiple times a year.
You can make 1,000 experiments a year. You can only do one with wine.
Exactly. So with wine, you get one shot. And so what's really interesting about the Dr. Forrest wines is that they're not attempting to de-alkalize completely, and they're not wanting to intervene. They're not wanting to do any of these processes we're talking about that the majority of people are doing. They're trying to do the heavy lifting in the vineyard and do the work down there.
Yes.
So You've actually got some pretty good inside scoop on this. I'm not going to steal it from you. So
come on. I'm very friendly with Dr. John Forrest.
Exactly.
Just before
Should we taste this first? Come on.
Let's taste this first.
I've had a little crack at it already.
It certainly smells just like a Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc.
It does. And I think rather than jumping into the big carnival headdress, fruit salad, tropicals of Sauvignon Blanc, there's a citrusiness to this. There's a lovely orchard fruit citrusiness to it.
And it's delicious.
It's great. Much the same intensity.
Take this out of the fridge.
Yeah.
And this is at 9.5 alcohol, and give it to me with an example of a 13% alcohol. I might be able to tell the difference. Whether I would enjoy the stronger one or not, I'm not sure. No. I think this is absolutely delightful. Actually, it's not that different from the full strength Forest, which is probably 13% alcohol.
You can see the terroir and the mark of the winemaker in there.
Lovely citrus thing, that zesty, slightly lemony, green apple-y thing.
Exactly.
And just that weight. Very successful. Now,
it's delicious.
Tell me about
the vineyard.
Well done, Doc.
I'm going to pour you something white. We're going to carry on with that.
Okay.
You tell me about what goes on in the vineyard.
Well, I'm sorry to throw this away, but I suppose I have to.
Oh, nice. In fact, I'm going to use this.
Okay.
So, what goes on in the vineyard then? What have you discovered?
What happens in the vineyard is that Dr. Forrest, with a lot of toing and froing around the world and going to lectures and all these other sorts of things, from one or other source has worked out that you can stop the alcohol accumulation in the vineyard relatively simply, because the vine grows new leaves all the time during the summer.
Yeah.
The newest leaves keep coming out at the top.
Yeah.
And they're the ones which have got the biggest ability to photosynthesize sunlight into sugar and therefore create potential alcohol.
Yes. So these big dark green vibrant leaves at the top.
The middle leaves, they also photosynthesize, but they don't accumulate so much sugar in the grapes.
Yeah.
And the leaves that are right down near the grapes, the lower end, which are duller and yellower in style, their chief job is protecting the grapes, not creating sugar.
So what shading them, not letting them get sunburned,
shading
all
them
this stuff.
rather than making sugar from them. So what Dr. Forrest worked out was, if you cut off the top third all the time, you're continually cutting off the sugar machine.
Yeah.
Now the middle third will still go on accumulating sugar, but more slowly, less efficiently. So you can get a full season of ripening, and the grapes sitting on the vines over a long period of time.
Same duration.
That's what creates flavour. If they don't sit there for very long, they don't create flavour. If you can keep them on the vine but not create the sugar, you can get the same amount of flavour and 1/3 less alcohol, because you've got 1/3 less sugar in the grapes. And then you put them in the winery, and I suspect Dr. Forrest knows a lot about yeasts and probably has some yeasts which are not terribly enthusiastic yeasts. They slowly work their way through the juice that they've got, and you end up with a wine which is pretty much basically dry, quite high acid, which is what you want in Sauvignon Blanc. Tons of flavour.
Packed with that flavour.
Packed with flavour.
So, I mean, this is, it's learnings that will be taken all around the world, of course, because this applies to everywhere with climate change and more sunshine.
I think lots of other people are doing it now.
Yeah, 100%. In your glass, we've got some Riesling. I've poured you the longer, more slender styled Riesling bottle. And of course, Marlborough, iconic for Sauvignon Blanc, but there are some fantastic Riesling producers there.
They do.
And the Riesling, I find from Marlborough, it's always fleshier, it's always fruitier, and this is definitely Marlborough Riesling, and it does a very good job of delivering what you want from Riesling. You know, there's a bright citrus to it, there's a limey note to it.
It's a little rounder on the whole than, say, Mosel.
Yeah,
Mosel Valley Riesling from Germany is just a little more taut, isn't it? But this is obviously what Dr. Forrest is after. And Ernie Lozen, who is one of the great Mosel producers in Germany, I think was one of the people who helped Dr. Forrest conceptualize what was going on.
And it's got a lovely fine acid to it. There's a great structure. There's sweetness here. It's a much higher level of residual sweetness, which would be fair enough. There's a fantastic acid sweetness interplay, and it's got elements of you mentioned, Cabernet, Riesling from Germany and things, that lovely interplay of freshness and a bit of sweetness and things, which is great with food. It's a little bit softer and richer and rounder, isn't it, in style? It's
because
a bit
Riesling is from they get much more sunshine in Marlborough than they do in Germany. But I think it works very well.
It's great. Give me a suckling
I'm more
pig.
excited by the Sauvignon Blanc.
100%.
Yeah.
I think the Sauvignon is seriously of its place. But the Riesling, I think the opportunity for food pairing is great. Give me some Thai food, bit of spice, something like that. When we go and hop on a train later, let's get ourselves a little sort of buffet.
In Tisbury, that well-known Thai restaurant in Tisbury.
Hotbed of Thai cookery.
Let's have some Pinot Noir first. I'm going to serve it because I'm not sure that you're actually...
the reason I do the pouring, you can see exactly that.
Actually, this is Sauvignon Blanc.
That
as if
is
I
a
knew.
White wine.
At least I stopped myself just in time. Okay, do you want to do
yourself? No,
smarty
come on.
pants?
Please. I wouldn't dream of it. So we've got some Pinot Noir.
Now this is very interesting because to make a lower alcohol red wine, one would say is significantly more challenging than making something like a Sauvignon Blanc, which is so strongly predicated towards fruit and acidity.
For starters, you need more ripeness. You need more time to get those grape skins fully coloured. It's a thing.
Red grapes need longer time.
Yeah.
Now, I believe with the Pinot Noir, they said that the Pinot Noir vine is a very spindly vine, and they said you can't do this with young vines. immediately makes it more challenging.
Yeah.
And they started with 40-year-old vines. There can't be many of those in Marlborough. And even now, I think all the vines involved in this are 20 years old. But I think there's another thing about this, which I think you picked up on.
We did. We picked up on it. We had a little glass before we went on. I think there's a couple of things at play here. So one is, I think, those old vines, because it's sensationally concentrated. You would never. I genuinely don't think, if I was a couple of glasses of wine into a party and chatting with people, that I'd be picking out this as a low ABV one.
Delicious.
It's got fantastic structure. It's got brilliant grip and tension and gentle tannin. It's got fantastic concentration of red berry fruit, and there's layers. There's blackberry fruit. There's brambliness. There's juicy, almost raspberry sort of style things. There's a leafy greenness. There's a real kind of earthy, savoury sensation. Everything you want from great Pinot. I think what's going on here is twofold. I think there is time in bottle.
Yes.
I think is key.
It's 4 years old.
It is 4 years old. It's from 2021. It's had time. They've given it time to broaden out a bit in the bottle, gain some of those gentle, mature kind of characters that are going on. And I think the other thing is really high quality vineyard. I think if you like you were saying, if you're not doing this with fruit that's already nicely highly concentrated and heading in that direction, you just couldn't do it.
And and this is a compliment I'm paying this wine. Do you know what it reminds me of in Pinot Noir style? Really nice example of English Pinot Noir.
Yes.
It's as though this is where we are in England.
That freshness, that Moorishness, that
brightness,
easy.
and that's a great compliment.
Huge compliment. I think. I would say that, as I think, as we said at the top with this, if you were setting yourself up to fail, the red is going to be the hardest one, isn't it? That's going to be the most challenging piece. There's so many more components and things going on to make a great balanced red. Yeah. And if anything, I think it's probably my favourite in the range. I think it's absolutely great. Am I allowed favourites? I don't know. Probably not.
Okay, you take the Pinot Noir, I'll take the Sauvignon.
Then we're winning. That's perfect. Come on.
Yeah.
We'll split a bottle of the lovely Riesling.
I must say, I think this is a great success.
Yeah, big success.
Doctor, a great success. Well done.
Cheers.
This is just one of our WineAlive Summer Sipping Series videos with me, Oz Clarke, and with my mate, Tom Surgey. If you'd like to know more about the wines we've tasted, head over to our blog at wine-alive.com and check out our other videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and we hope you sip splendidly this summer.